Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our Broadway SF from Home Instagram Live series. And we are so excited to have two special guests today, John Gardiner and Kylie Ray. So let's bring them in. And I believe we are bringing them in now. Hello!
Hi! How are you?
Hi. How are you? How are you?
Good.
Great. Yeah, thanks for jumping in and talking to us today. We're so excited to hear from you.
Of course. Our pleasure.
Okay. And how are you both doing today?
Good. I would say, every day is sort of Groundhog Day right now, I think for everybody. But yeah, we have really no complaints. We've got a great situation. We're safe, we're healthy, we're all together, so we're doing good.
Yeah, we're quarantining with her parents in a little town in Nevada. So
okay.
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like a cowboy.
Yeah.
Yes, there's lots of cattle and sheep, and it's interesting being around such a small rural area during this pandemic.
Yeah, when we live in New York City. So we're
Yeah, totally.
Culture
Right.
shock.
And I see the hat that you have, Kylie. It has a little
Yes, I'm
cowboy
embracing my inner cowgirl.
stripe. Yes. I
Also
love it.
hiding my roots because I haven't had my hair done in so many months.
The Corona haircuts.
Mhm.
Yes.
I did his, not bad, right?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, no, it looks great. Yeah.
that's right.
Great job. Did you have to
Side
watch
hustle.
like any YouTube tutorials, or did you just go at it, or how?
I tried to, and then I just went completely rogue. It was like such a fail. I watched many tutorials. I even checked in with one of my best friends who is a hairdresser in LA, and he was actually on tour with us in Jersey Boys, and then he kind of transitioned and started to do hair. And I was like, "Oh my God, help me! What do I do?" And he was just like, "You're a lost cause." So
Well, it looks great.
She's playing jazz. It looks great.
And it looks like we have a comment from Danny Knob. He says, "Hi, John and Kylie."
hi, Danny. We miss you.
Great, and for everyone that's tuning in, so we have John Gardner and Kylie Ray, who are a married couple who have worked on Jersey Boys together, as well as national tours of Summer, the Donna Summer musical, and Bronx Tale. And I just wanted to. Something that I love, John. I wanted to your bio in the summer program is just so wonderful. So I just wanted to read it to everyone.
It's
so
rich.
This is from the summer, which we had at the Golden Gate Theater this past December.
Hashtag dad jokes.
Oh, yes, it is. So his bio reads: "I feel love from Broadway, Jersey Boys, Bronx Tale. Heaven knows he's toured The Lion King, Jersey Boys, Bronx Tale. Worked hard for the money regionally. Last dance with school, BFA of Northern Kentucky University and MFA of University of Alabama, and he shares the summer stage with hot stuff wife Kylie Ray, and has unconditional love for their son Finnegan." And when I saw that when I saw Summer, and I was like, oh, what a fun, clever bio. And
I have to give credit. Kylie was the one who initially thought of that. We had had a couple glasses of wine, and you have the deadline to turn in your bio and all that kind of thing. And she turns to me and she's like, "You know what would be funny?" She said, "You're so big into dad jokes. What if you made your bio just one big pun?" And we were dying laughing, creating that. So I'm glad somebody else got amusement out of it, because we think we're hilarious.
Well, I mean, naturally. But yeah, I mean, you get like 3 lines to make your bio interesting and, clever, and they all kind of start to sound the same after a while. And most people don't, they would rather have a giggle than read like 1,000 credits that you've done. So
And Summer's one of those like fun-loving shows. I'm sure if we were doing like King Lear, I wouldn't be so shticky, that kind of thing.
right.
Like, you know what? Everybody's there to dance.
or would you?
Or what? I don't know. I'm a wild card. You're like, everybody's there to have fun and do a little dancing. Let's yuck it up.
Yeah, totally.
Well, definitely, I loved it. And for Kylie, so you have been on Broadway in the Jersey Boys and national tours of Bronx Tale, Rock of Ages, Flashdance, Mamma Mia, Grease, and Fame. And you sang the song "My Boyfriend's Back" in the movie Jersey Boys,
Yeah.
directed by Clint Eastwood. And you end your bio with proud mama to Finnegan Ray Gardiner and wife to favorite disco partner John Gardiner. So you got that little disco action in there as well.
Yeah, you before the day is done, John has to show you his favorite disco move.
Oh God, no.
The dolphin.
Yes.
No.
As long as Sergio's not watching, we're in the clear.
I was just about to say, God help us if any of the choreography team are watching right now. They're like, and delete.
Oh, great. Well, actually, we've had so we've been doing these Instagram lives with actors for the past couple weeks now, and we've actually the past two that we've had, we had Nick Adams, and last week we had Nick Rouleau, and they both also met their partners are also actors, and they also met them in shows together. So we're just continuing the trend with the two of you. This is very exciting.
That showmance, that long-lasting showmance.
That's right.
Yes, and we have a comment from Matthew Ray Madsen. $1 Million Quartet. These two were amazing.
Oh, Matthew, he's so lovely. We met him in Utah, like right after Finn was born, actually.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago now. And yeah, we did $1 Million Quartet together out there at Tuacahn in St. George. It was such a blast.
Yeah, it was. They're so kid friendly there that they actually have a daycare center where when we were doing the show, we would take him in every night, and like these people would be like Finnegan and like care for him, and then after the show we'd like still be in makeup, like picking up our child from child coat check.
Yeah.
And no, they're fantastic out there at Tuacahn.
It is. It's a lovely theater, and you meet so many wonderful people, like Matthew, perfect example, who we've stayed in touch through the years, and yeah, it's theater, man. It brings people together.
Yeah, and in fact, any chance we get to work together, it's like, such a score.
Right, yeah, and could you tell us the story of how did you two meet, and how did this relationship happen? And you met in Jersey Boys, is that right?
We did.
Yeah. Do you want me to field this?
Do it.
Okay. So
he's more concise.
We had met on the road. I've been doing the show forever. She joined up, like, we did years on the road. Just one of those classic things where you start out as friends, then it becomes more than friends, and then then you do that thing where you get off the road and you go, is this real? I don't know. And then suddenly you have that moment where you go, oh wow, this isn't just, we throw around the thing, showmance. This isn't just a showmance. This is for the long haul. And that's, the rest is history.
And what's it like being in so many shows together and having the opportunity to work with each other? It must be such a blessing to be able to
I
do that
need more space. She won't leave me alone.
Right.
I'm like, get out of here. No.
A likely story. No, he might feel that way most days. No, we actually, the irony is we don't see each other a ton at work. John and I do very different things. So I would say in every show we've done together, our roles are so polar opposite. Like John is usually in like a very strong actory, like scene work kind of thing, and I'm usually dancing my butt off. And so we're not often even in the same rooms during rehearsal. And then like a show like Summer, a perfect example, where it is so busy, we don't have 10 seconds backstage to like stop and do anything. So we would see each other at one point in the show in passing and be like, hey man.
It goes something like this. Hey, are you good? Okay, I gotta go. Okay.
Yeah, so that's
kind
of it. So we don't see each other a ton at work. So it's actually kind of nice. Like I get a ton of time to hang with my girls in the dressing room, and I really love that, and he loves his guy time, and but it's also really nice that it kind of keeps us engaged in each other's lives. Like we have the same community. We go home and talk about, our experiences.
How was your show?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she crushed that note.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you see this thing almost fell on my head? Oh.
Right. So it does keep you kind of like in the same world, which is really nice, but not, in each other's pocket.
Yeah.
So
best of both worlds.
Yeah, we love it.
Right. Yeah.
Anybody who wants to hire another married couple, turns out we're unemployed.
We tour, go figure. We tour with Finn, who becomes the little mascot of any show that he's in.
Yeah.
It's like, he knows airports and airplanes back before everything shut down. Like he would get in the airplane and be like, okay, I know how to turn on the lights, and let's look at the evacuation plan and in-flight magazine, and
Yeah,
yeah,
he's a hoot,
he's a
and
road baby.
he's got all of his little aunties and uncles from, his cast and crew
Yeah,
that still check in on him, and I'm always sending everybody videos of our son and
yeah.
Oh,
probably
that's
boring them to death.
Finn is 100% more popular than we are. 100%. Like,
Yeah, we're basically just Finn's parents at
that's
this
right.
point.
That's
Yeah.
Oh, we
if
have
at any point you just want to interview him, and we'll take off. You just let us know. So,
and how old is your son?
2.
yep.
Mhm.
Oh, how sweet. Yeah, we have some
Yeah.
comments here where someone says hashtag couple goals.
Aw.
And Bernadine Milo says, love these two.
Aw, we love her. Bernadette.
Oh,
That's
We're a
great.
super fan.
And so what is it like, touring with your son Finn and having, it sounds like, you do have a wonderful supportive community there. And so what is that like to be able to bring your son with you across the country?
It's so awesome. Like our son has had the opportunity to see so much more of the world. And granted, he's 2 and he probably won't remember it, but I do think that it's really allowed him to experience different things than, maybe other toddlers. And I think it will really shape and inform the man that he'll become in his adult life. And he's so well adjusted. Like you can throw him anywhere and he's going to just kind of figure it out and be cool. He has no like, like separation anxiety or anything like that because he's just sort of, he's been exposed to so much. It's been really cool. And I think, traveling with a kid, we started when he was, I guess in Utah, we worked with him when he was 4 months old, and we took him on tour when he was 8 months old. So he spent most of his life on the road, and it's kind of this is the longest we've been anywhere. Is like during quarantine. It's been the longest he's ever been anywhere, and it does take a lot more coordinating and planning and strategizing. But I I've loved it.
And I think the other nice thing is it sounds like the opposite would be true, but we get more time with them.
Hmm.
Because once you're out of rehearsal, we tour with a nanny who we've had a couple just fantastic nannies. And I know
We love them.
And we're with him around the clock, except for the few hours we go do the show. So, normally in a normal situation, parents would be going off to work for hours and hours. We have afternoons, we're going to children's museums, we're going to parks, hiking around. And I'm like, just gratitude. Nothing but just feeling complete gratitude for this time in our lives.
Absolutely.
That's so wonderful. And it sounds like because you're traveling from city to city, you get to experience a whole breadth of museums and parks and everything to
big time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he kind of always knows where he's at, or he'll be like, oh, are we going to Chicago today? Or, he has like an idea and understanding of where we're at in the world.
When we were in San Francisco, we were living up in Little Italy, right near, what was that beautiful church with the park? Anyway, there was like, I think it was Joe DiMaggio Park that we would go to.
Right.
And that great cathedral right there. And he got to know even like the street musicians. Like there's this guy like playing this thing, and he would come up and like give him $1 and he'd like show Finn how to do it. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, our nanny one time sent us a video of the guy like holding Finn in his lap and like playing his instrument. I was like,
yeah,
he's cool.
A man of the world at 2.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's so wonderful. And so what has I want to talk a little bit about your careers together. And you both made your Broadway debuts in Jersey Boys. Is that right? And what was that experience like? And did you make your Broadway debut together or separate, or what's the story behind that?
We didn't actually make it together. So I had done a run with the Broadway company, and I was there, I think, filling in. Oh my gosh, I was there so many times, so it's hard to remember like all the different variations of Jersey Boys that I went into. But I think I was there for maternity or something, and so my final day was one day before his debut. So we missed each other on Broadway by one day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. But I mean, obviously, amazing. We both love that show so much. Yeah. And we were a part of that show. I think I was with it like on and off for approximately 7 years or something. And John, almost 10 years. Yeah. So, it's been a massive part of our life. And
been in what, 3 different companies, 4 different companies?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
so Broadway tour Vegas, I did the movie. I mean,
yeah.
it's been a lot
It's
of a huge portion of our lives. And
just like a lot of people that have done that show a bunch. It's sort of like a part of us now,
we
you
always say it's
know.
the gift that keeps on giving. Oh,
Yeah.
and then you were in the off-Broadway
Oh yeah.
company even
I got a
recently.
I
So
got a call
Oh.
where I was on tour with Bronx Tale, and
Mhm.
we had a layoff for a few weeks, and because it's the same producers, Bronx Tale and Jersey Boys, they called me up and they were like, "Hey, can you play Tommy again, in Jersey Boys?" And I said, "Oh, I'm doing this other show." And they go, "Well, yeah, we know." And I said, "Well, when?" And they said, "During your layoff." And they said, "We need a few weeks." And I said, I haven't done that show in like a year and a half." And they said, "You'll be fine." And they were right. Like, we did 2 hours of rehearsal, and I was on that night after like the night before playing a wise guy in Bronx Tale. It was kind of
Mhm.
like something like that. It's just in your bones. You're like, "Oh my God, my body knows what to do. What's my mouth saying?"
Totally.
Anyway,
Oh
Yeah.
wow, that's what a story! And I have a picture here. Oops, of that. I believe that's you, John,
Oh,
in Jersey
yeah.
Boys. I don't know if you remember which company.
That's tour, I think. I
that
think that's
was
Nick,
that
right?
was that is the company, that the closing company of the first national tour.
Right.
Hmm.
So yeah, we
Is
have
that
we have
Michael?
we have Michael Amenda, Miles Jacoby,
Michael
and
Amenda, who went on
and
to
Nikki, right?
star in Jersey Boys, the movie,
Yeah. So the guy
as Nick
far
Massey.
right playing the bass, that's
Hmm.
Michael Amenda, who played Nick Massey in the movie, is one of our dear friends.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the closing. We close in San Francisco with that company, and Clint Eastwood came to see us, uh, as he was researching to do the movie.
Yeah.
He came to see that company in San Francisco. We met him on stage and everything, and
Oh, great.
somebody made a good impression. Um,
Yeah. So Kylie, what was that? What was that experience like? Filming Jersey Boys. With Clint Eastwood. That
It
must
was
have been.
really surreal, very, very cool experience. It all happened so fast. So even the audition process, I, went to Warner Brothers the lot, and I did like a in-person on lot kind of really quick audition tape. And I think they sent everybody's tapes in for him to watch it. And I think we kind of got a response pretty quickly from that. And then um, found out that I would be doing, the angel's role and playing the lead angel and singing My Boyfriend's Back, which was so wonderful, very, very cool. I didn't realize like how quickly the whole thing moved. I think we did the whole number in 2 or 3 takes in front of a live audience in
Wow.
downtown LA. Like, yeah, at a theater in downtown LA. So I just kind of I mean, that was my first big feature film. And
Mhm.
I thought everything would just kind of be like you're there all day and it's kind of just a relaxed. I mean, it was just like hustle and bang it out. And I was like, oh, wait, we're done. You got it. That's it. So, and my understanding from, the friends of mine that were more involved with the film other than, just the couple numbers that I did. I mean, I think that's the way the whole thing went. It was
Mhm.
like Clint just kind of knew when he got the take and that's it and he moved on. I think he has a reputation of always coming in on time under budget. So yeah, it was a really very cool experience to work with him and also be part of um something so iconic, like, right, it goes on film and then it's there forever. And but it was still like our team. I still got to work
Mhm.
with, our choreographer, Sergio Trujillo. We got to work with Ron Melrose, the music director, and well, the orchestrator and music arranger. And, getting to work with them in that setting versus, working in like a live theater thing. It's a totally different ball game. It was really cool. I enjoyed.
And I believe Jersey Boys is on Netflix currently. So
Mhm.
people watching right now, if they want to check it out, they can. At least I know it was at least at the beginning of Shelter in Place. And,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
I think it's
but
still there. Yeah.
I'm
okay,
sure.
great. So yeah, if you want to check it out, you can view it on Netflix right after this. um, and so moving forward with actually we do have a fan question here. This is from Aaliyah Penny, and she asks, "What kind of audience behavior at Jersey Boys you have to get used to?" I guess it's probably yeah, talking about it's a different audience maybe than the New Yorker on tour. And I guess could you talk about what was it like just performing in Vegas, and what the difference is performing on Broadway or across the country?
You take it?
I,
You take it. I've been talking too much.
I would say it's interesting to watch as you travel around the country, and Vegas is included in this, how different audiences react to something as specific as Jersey Boys, where, you know, doing the show in New York, you make certain local references and people are like, oh, you know, they know this bridge, they know like the inside joke about this and that, like across the Hudson. And to watch, on the one hand, you know, you play in the South, people might get a little bit offended about some of the language in the play, you know, that kind of, or the subject matter. Vegas, I think you got a little bit more people that were maybe a little bit more inebriated. Maybe they had a couple more cocktails, where you got a little bit more singing along. But honestly, that theater was so gigantic. I think any energy, it just gets all mixed in. And that's part of performing live, you know, is that I think that's what makes it so special, is that you take whatever's happening that night, you know, somebody says a little something and you're like, oh, okay. You know, you shoot a little look or this kind of, I mean, you know, it keeps it's all give and take. And I think Vegas was great about that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it sounds like it really kept you in the moment when you're performing, and just
well, especially there's so much direct address in Jersey Boys, so you're doing these monologues and you're finding little people in the crowd to kind of look at and give a nod to, and you know.
Direct address is when you like break the fourth wall and you talk directly to the audience, just in case not everybody knows.
Yeah, sorry. The lingo.
And so moving forward from Jersey Boys, you were both involved in the workshop process for Bronx Tale. And so what was that process like, and what does workshops mean? So this was before it was on Broadway, correct?
Right. So we actually, believe it or not, we weren't both involved in the workshop. There's many stages a show pre-production can go through. Oftentimes it starts with something called the dance lab, and that's what I was a part of. And we mainly worked on, you know, musical numbers. Some of them got scrapped, some of them were kept, but we put them on our feet with, you know, a company of very talented actors, singers, dancers, and mainly worked on like getting these musical numbers on their feet. John actually was part of the workshop, which is a little bit more extensive. If you want to explain what that is.
Sure. It's the workshop production is where it's kind of the last in studio thing where they're writing numbers and cutting numbers and seeing how lines work and like cutting things and adding things. And it was a little nuts because of just the level of celebrity that was associated. I mean, it's written by Chaz Palminteri, you know, it's his life story. And normally you go into something like this and you maybe meet the person once. Like we met Frankie Valli a couple times. I met Tommy DeVito a few times with the Jersey Boys. Chaz was in the room every single day, laughing, making notes. Jerry Zaks, who was a, you know, famous theater director, it was intimidating enough having him in the room, but then, you know, they have Robert De Niro sitting right next to him. And when I heard this, I'm like, De Niro will stop by once in a while. He's there like 4 out of 5 days, taking notes, looking at like this kind of thing. And the level of like watching all the actors in the room be like, oh, we better bring it. Like we got some big guns in the room. It was, and Alan Menken, who, you know, has written all this great like music for Little Shop to Beauty and the Beast. I mean, you name it, Aladdin, Little Mermaid. To watch him.
And Glenn Slater.
Yeah, and Glenn Slater. I mean, the list goes on. To watch them and to be part of where they're like, oh, I wrote this song. And there was this hilarious song that didn't make it in there, where they're all these, I'm one of these priests where we're doing 4-part harmony. And I remember Jerry Zaks being like, you guys, you nailed it. It was perfect. We're cutting it. and to watch, this great song just go, they're like, doesn't serve the play. So to be part of all of that, and you watch these brilliant people put together this thing and just be kind of a little cog in the wheel. It was awesome.
And I know that, so John, you stepped into A Bronx Tale on Broadway, and I believe you stepped in. Your first performance was the day you found out that you were cast in it, or that you were in the show.
Yeah, so I had done the workshop, but like most plays, a lot of time passes where they do the workshop, you make a big presentation to a bunch of like investors, then they all go away, they decide if they're going to invest. If it goes well, they then mount it like an out of town usually, and they bring it to Broadway. So it was in that waiting period. So I'm in between jobs. I'm working at a place called Soho House, which is like hotel, like bar, that kind of thing, restaurant. So I'm, hustling 9 to 5 kind of thing. And my agent calls and he's like, hey, Bronx Tale's interested. You're available right now? Yes. And I'm like, I said, yeah. She said, I think they're talking about having you go into the show. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's been a little bit, it's been about 6 months. Something. I'm like, I'd love to go and see the show. It's on Broadway now. I wasn't in the original cast. So if I could give me a ticket. And she goes, okay. She calls me back. She's like, misunderstanding. You're supposed to report to the theater tonight. It was 2 p.m. Wow. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, cool. I'm like, is this just for tonight? She goes, you are now part of the Broadway company until further notice, like as the swing for the wise guys, but specifically to go on for this one person. And she's like, get there early so they can measure you for some costumes. Stop what you're doing and start looking over your old notes. I'm like, okay, all right.
Live theater.
Pardon me while I quit my hustle job.
Wow, that is quite the story.
Yeah.
This actually happened, I think, with another friend of ours too, who was thrown into Bronx Tale, and we were actually just talking about that earlier, where the dance captain, he got thrown in that night, and the dance captain's in the wings being like, go to 14, go to 11.
Yeah. And literally he's just going, oh gosh.
And the audience sometimes has no idea these things are happening. But what we do can be, high stress, kind of crazy work. And
a lot of it is just improv where, looking cool under pressure.
Yeah.
And I'm sure knowing Chris, nobody knows. That guy's a beast.
He is.
And then from there, is that when you or after you've been doing Bronx on Broadway, is that when the tour happens after the Broadway production, and so you're both on the tour, correct?
We actually, yes, I've been doing the show as a swing on Broadway, so covering like 7 different wise guys, and then during that we had a baby, and actually there was even talk of her joining the Broadway company, but of Bronx Tale, but they were like, she's like,
I had given birth, I think, 2 weeks prior.
And she's like, what the?
Oh, wow.
But like as an actor, you go, wait, could I do that? Could I like bounce? No, you can't. Yeah. It's like, there's some stitches in my body. No,
but
can't.
But it all worked out where then, like right after that closed, we went on the road with it, which was fantastic. Mm-hmm. And I have to say something about Sergio Trujillo. He just won the Tony for Ain't Too Proud. Mm-hmm. And he choreographed Jersey Boys and Bronx Tale and so much. Like
so much.
Right.
Yeah, Kyli and he are like, hand in glove with dancing and choreography. And one of the coolest things was we're rehearsing the Bronx Tale tour. And I feel like most shows, they just take what's on Broadway and they go remount it, just do what's on the video, that kind of thing. With somebody like Sergio, it's really wild. He just never stops creating. Mm-hmm. Like he got in there and
he's a true choreographer. Yeah,
like
he's an artist.
We're working on stuff, and just because it's different people and their bodies are shaped differently or whatever. Kyli, I remember she did this little hair flip in this one thing, and he goes, wait, I'm going to choreograph. And he takes off his jacket and he gets up throughout
everything.
And everybody's like, but we learned the whole dance. He's like, it's all going to change. New lifts, new entrances, all this stuff. Just because, like one little spark where he saw her flip her hair this way. And it was
he's inspired by the people in front of him. He doesn't just cut and paste company to company. Like he takes in what's happening in the room and really finds a way to make everybody, elevated to their highest self. And it's really, he's a master. He's really fantastic at what he does. And we've been so grateful for the opportunity to work with him again and again. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that's gold
Yeah.
in my life. So.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, he came and we did an In Conversation event with Chaz and with Sergio prior to Bronx Tale in San Francisco. So it was great to hear, the way that he was able to work with the cast in mounting the tour production. It sounds like he's a really creative, hands-on choreographer. That's great to hear.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
We actually just discovered, I don't know, this is kind of a funny little sidebar, but the other day, like I said, we're quarantined here at my mom's house, and she's got like boxes of old VHS tapes that we were going through because she wants to, find a way to digitize. Is that a word? Digitize?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Digitalize?
Yeah.
I don't know. One of those. Anyway, she pulled out all these tapes, and we found a VHS of me when I think I was like 11 years old. Maybe I was 12. I don't know, but I was in the Academy Awards. And
this is back when the Academy Awards, they'd have these big production numbers and like lots of
Debbie
dancing.
Allen would choreograph. Yeah. I mean, she did multiple years in a row. So this is back in the days of like Debbie Allen Academy Awards. And I had seen this video multiple times, and it wasn't until this last time, I would say last week, that I was flipping through and I was like, I stopped and I was like, is that Sergio? And it occurred to me that in 1992, Sergio and I did the Academy Awards together.
Wow.
Which I never knew. Isn't that crazy? So
that's amazing. So he was a dancer as well?
He was.
Oh my God,
yeah, he was a dancer in that production. And I like sent him all these like video clips, and I was like, look, it's us. So we've been in a rehearsal room together for many years before we even really realized it. So.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story.
The latest project that you worked with Sergio was Summer, the Donna Summer musical. And I something that really excited me about Summer is that just the women that were on stage and that a lot of the women were playing men's roles, and that we saw a lot of female solidarity on stage. And so Kyli, what was that like? And for both of you to be in a production that really celebrated women?
It was just incredible. I mean, one of the greatest experiences of my career, working with these women who are all so badass. Like, I mean, gnarly triple threats. Everybody is so different too. It wasn't, when I first thought of the concept of like what they were going for Summer, I thought, okay, it's going to be like a bunch of like 6 foot, like Amazonian gorgeous women, and everybody's going to look the same, and it's all going to be carbon copy. And it couldn't have been further from that. Everybody brought something really unique and special. There was not one person that was like, typed into any specific role. All of us, I forget how many women were in the show, but all of us at one point play men. My primary role actually was Giorgio Moroder, who is an Italian-German record producer who sort of like found that disco sound with Donna Summer back in Germany. And I loved being able to like, put on a suit and these like Elton John glasses every night and rock that role. It was so cool. And watching these women just morph into like, bad girl, like hot women to like, bosses in their own right, as men. It was awesome to be part of that process. I loved it. It was too much fun. I'm so sad it got cut short, but what a great time.
And I'm not sure if it was the subject matter or just the people involved or both, but it is the most cohesive group of women I've ever seen. We're just truly, everything was like supportive and cheerleaders for each other and everything like that. And it was just amazing to like, watch Kyli play this like badass guy who's like, yeah, I invented the sound of disco. What?
Our first, actually, I think like one of the first scenes in the show was a scene with John and I where we were like on a phone call opposite each other on stage. And I don't know, it's cool. Like we'll never probably have that experience again where we could be two dudes hanging out.
And I got to wear a giant afro, which they don't usually ask me to do that. Oh. So there you go.
There we go. We have a comment from Tamron Goldberg who says the best.
Oh, Tam, oh my gosh,
awesome.
She's sensational. She was in the company of Summer with us, and What I mean, this girl,
She's a badass.
she's a gift.
Mhm.
Yes, she is. I love our girls. We still do like a Zoom call every Monday together. So
Oh,
we
that's
still
great.
congregate same time every Monday. And, you know, and we're just there to support and love on each other. And we're all kind of going through something different. But whatever it is we're going through, as I often say, like we're never going it alone. We always have each other. And that's really special. And that doesn't happen with every company. This one was so cohesive. So,
Oh, that's really
oh,
wonderful.
Tam, I see you.
Yeah, and you could really feel that solidarity on stage, and it really came through both in the music and the choreography, and just yeah, I was fortunate. I saw it both in LA at the Pantages and here in San Francisco, and so I was really I really appreciated that
Yeah.
energy coming from the women.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
And so how yeah, going back to for both of you, how did you both discover musical theater, and what led you to where you are today, and how did, yeah, growing up, did you have exposure to musical theater, and yeah, how did that discovery happen?
We had really different paths.
Very, very different.
Mine was probably a little bit more linear, just because I started taking like dance lessons when I was a little girl, and really found that was like my calling. That was my first love. Um, that was truly my life when I was growing up. And then I ended up, training in a studio for years and years. And by the time I got to high school, I auditioned for Orange County High School of the Arts, OSHA, which
Which that's like the fame of LA. It's like Performing Arts High School, which is
it's very successful. You've got people like Matthew Morrison, who came out of my graduating class, and Taryn Manning, who went on to be an incredibly successful actress, and we got Krista Rodriguez and Lindsay Mendez, and so there's a Susan Egan. The list goes on. There's a handful of several handfuls of very successful people in the entertainment industry. So I was actually in the commercial dance department. So I would say my path to musical theater was a little bit unexpected. My goal was to be a commercial dancer. I thought I would stay in LA and, do music videos and things like that. And I ended up kind of going to a couple auditions for musical theater things. And one of the first shows I did was Grease in Europe, which that production, oddly, is like still going on 20 years later. It's crazy.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so that was many moons ago. But
That's
that kind of
similar to Donna Summer when she went abroad to do hair.
yeah, same kind of thing. Totally relatable to me. But yeah, I went out there to Germany and started doing musical theater, and I thought, oh, like singing and saying words on stage, well, that's fun too. So I kind of just developed more and more of a love and passion for that, and yeah, that was sort of that kind of covers it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a much different path to musical theater. I come from a small town in Kentucky, and there wasn't a whole lot of like theater exposure. And so I actually was playing in a little rock band where we played like church festivals, and I'd be like lead singer, rhythm guitarist, and all this. And I was a sophomore in high school, went to an all boys school, and I saw they did like this little play in the gym where I was like, oh my God, this is amazing, So I told one of the guys, and I said, oh, that was so great. And he goes, oh, you're that singer from the band. He goes, why don't you come audition at the all girls school? We're doing a musical next, in the spring. I go, no, that's not for me. And he said, well, me and some of the other upperclassmen will give you a ride. And I was like, to go with the upperclassmen as like an underclass. So I go to the all-girls school
in a car.
Big deal. And there were like 8 guys auditioning for the musical. It was Godspell, and there were like down the hall, around the bend, like this long line of girls. And I went back to soccer practice the next day. I go, you guys, we're doing the wrong activities. We got to start doing plays. This is amazing over there. And that's kind of how I got into it. And then, of course,
For the chicks.
for the
Yeah.
ladies, and it worked. No,
There we go. Yes.
and then you fall in love with the art and everything like that. But that literally was the first thing. Was kind of theater beat, a soccer locker room.
Actually, we're related. We have a question from a fan here. This is from Rosalie Jervis 15, and they ask, "Do you have any advice for aspiring actors?"
Yes. No. Do you want to go? Or do you want me to go?
Why don't you take it? You're
Okay.
good with this.
I have lots of advice, but the overall thing is, one, try and do it as much as you can. Even if it's just making videos for yourself and your friends, get in any shows you can whenever you can. If you can't get involved in a project, create your own. Like, write your own stuff, even if it's like funny little YouTube videos and stuff like that. It's all great. It's all great practice. And the other thing that
The
I would
more
say,
you create, the better you get at it too.
doing, practice. And the other thing I would say is, if you are interested in doing this as a career, something I always tell younger actors is, when you first encounter rejection and you first encounter a little bit of success and this kind of thing, you sort of have this thing of like, oh, this is forever. And one thing I found is nothing is forever. So my advice as an older actor is, don't let the lows get you too down. Don't let the highs get you too cocky. Just kind of stay humble and grateful and hungry. I almost started quoting Hamilton, I think. Young, scrappy, hungry. What else can I throw in?
Obviously not our next show.
No, but that's what I would say.
Yeah, no, that's really great advice.
As much as you can. And
and train as much as you can train.
Take class. Oh my God.
And be a sponge. Take it all in. Take what you can, and if it doesn't really jive with you, just like but train. That's the main thing. Just keep working. Never get stagnant in your craft.
And keep living. That's the other thing. A lot of people if you're really into I've seen people go the other way where it's just classes, and you're like, you need a little bit of life to leak in too, so like do weird jobs and travel and all that. You'll create better characters because of it.
It's true.
That's really great. And Rosalie Jervis 15 says, "Thank you, great advice."
Aw. Good luck to you, Rosalie.
Yeah, and Lofty Gal 33 says, "Don't throw away your shot." Another Hamilton piece of advice.
Hey, there you go. I better go get in costume.
Right. And also, I know that you both prepared something special for us today, a performance. Is that right?
We did. We were trying to think of a song that felt right to sing during this challenging time for everybody. And it's just a reminder that, like, you've got people, nobody's going through any of this alone.
Yeah. And also, in terms of theater, it's all about personal connection. We were talking before about connecting with the audience, connecting with each other. And I think we sort of picked, as I grab the guitar, we sort of picked this song, thinking about, connecting with each other, and, that we're all there for each other, whether it's online or don't be afraid to pick up the phone and it's, call people you haven't talked to in a while and just be like, we're all here for each other.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what this is, why we picked this. It's Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper.
Great.
Lying in my bed, I hear the clock tick and think of you, caught up in circles. Confusion is nothing new. Flashback, warm nights, almost left behind. Suitcase of memories, time after.
Sometimes you think you're calling to me.
If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting. Time after time. After my picture fades and darkness has turned to gray, watching through windows, you're wondering if I'm okay. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting. Time after time. Time after time. Time after time. Time after time.
Oh, that was really wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great. I'm sure we're all clapping from our living rooms.
Thanks.
John's lyrics.
Oh, yes. I'm not a lyrics guy. So,
but he has a lot more to think about than I do. So.
I will say, I now regret that I didn't tape a lyric sheet under the camera.
Who cares? You guys get the message.
It's a gist.
Yeah.
It's about love.
Yeah.
It's about love.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to thank you again for your time, for taking the time to talk to us. And before we go, just what are any final thoughts of how, I know that it's so great that you two are able to spend this time together in quarantine, and how are some ways that you're staying positive during these times?
I will say, this is really a positive message. It might seem like it's going to take a left turn, but so because it's me. No, Amanda Klutz. I don't know if you guys are following her and the Nick Cordero story. For me, they are sort of like that is like the face of COVID, and everything that their family is going through is just unimaginable for so many of us. But watching Amanda every single day get up and like lead everybody in this like positive energy message, to me, anything that I have felt at all that's like kind of tugging at me that I'm struggling with, I go, nope, not today. We're choosing to just focus on everything we have and everything we have to be grateful for, and continue to like, I'm taking in energy like that and trying to like give it back to as many people as possible too. So that to me has been like a great fuel for positivity. And cooking. I actually hate cooking. And I have found during this time that it's like really cathartic for me. And I'm having a lot of fun kind of coming up with new, mainly plant-based meals, much to his chagrin, during quarantine. And I'm finding that that's like really fun, and it's an artistic, creative expression. And we're also doing these cute little like singing telegrams. A friend of ours who has sorry, I'm taking all the
No,
time
no,
with this.
no, you're fine. I'm
A friend
agreeing
of
with you.
ours has this company that she just started. It's called High Note Greetings. And, you know, you send these little, like, much like what we just did, like a little snippet of a song and send it out to like somebody that's graduating or
Yeah.
retiring, or it's a birthday message or whatever it is. And it gives us something to like actually work on creatively, sometimes
And
together.
kind of
And
give back these people who are like,
totally.
you know, they don't have a graduation, so people are trying to
Yeah.
make the best of it.
So it's a cute idea,
Yeah.
but that's the stuff that's working for me. What about you, John?
I was going to say, it sounds so simple, and I always laugh at people that did this, but walks.
Mm-hmm.
We take walks. And I'm like, just the simplest thing. I'm like, you know, I'm like, well, it's not really going to the gym or anything. I find such a like zen thing with that. And when you hear the bell ring like this,
Very zen bell.
you-
Yes.
I hear that every time I walk.
Yes.
But no, I was going to say, and the other, I did also want to give, like she was saying, make a comment about Nick Cordero, who, whether you pray or send love and light or whatever you do, he's fighting for his life in LA right now. He played Sonny on Broadway in Bronx Tale, and he's just the most wonderful guy. His wife, Amanda Klutz, does updates on Instagram, and yeah, we're just sending as much positivity and everything like that as we possibly can. So
You got this, Nick.
if you think of it, you know,
Yeah.
tune into her Instagram thing. It's pretty, like Kylie was saying, it's amazing.
So inspiring.
It's inspiring to watch her positivity through all this.
I don't know that I could. It has inspired me that if ever I'm going through anything, even a fraction of what she's going through, to just every single day wake up and be grateful. And that to me is like, it's everything. Gratitude is really the key to happiness, right?
Happiness. That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly, and we're so grateful for the time that you spent with talking to us today. Yeah,
Us too. This was so nice.
This is so much
Thank
fun.
you for having us.
Yeah, and Marissa.Haddad says love these two.
Oh,
And
Marissa.
Ben Tiff2 says,
Love
Kylie,
you.
say hi to your mom.
Ah, I will.
Thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Best to you both and to Finn, and hope you stay safe and well. And thank you so much. Best to you all.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Great. And thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to our BroadwaySF from Home Instagram Live series. Stay tuned for more fun in the coming weeks. And we'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.